The concealed demonstration. The Nexarian approach Captain Zarath pressed her four-fingered hand against the crystalline console of the starship Void Piercer. The blue-white glow of Earth grew larger through the transparent aluminum viewport as her vessel approached the third planet of this unremarkable solar system. Her ship moved on conventional ion drives, the quantum fold engines completely powered down and shielded behind 7 layers of protective barriers. Dropping to sublight approach speed, announced Navigation Officer Timmer, her voice carrying the musical tones characteristic of their species. The familiar hum of the quantum fold drive faded into silence, replaced by the gentle whisper of conventional propulsion systems. Zarath nodded and settled into her command seat. The bridge around her represented the pinnacle of Nexarian engineering. Flowing curves of living metal responded to thought patterns. Holographic displays showed information in 4 dimensions, and most importantly, the heavily encrypted quantum fold, core that made their civilization the undisputed masters of this galactic sector. "What do our preliminary scans reveal about these humans?" she asked her science officer, Kylan. The younger Nexarian manipulated the air itself, creating a 3-dimensional display of the blue and green world ahead. "Primitive carbon-based life forms, Captain. They have achieved basic fusion technology and limited spaceflight, but remain confined to their home system. Our long-range scouts estimate they are at least 800 years from developing any form of faster-than-light capability." Zarath smiled, revealing teeth that sparkled like diamonds. The Nexarian Empire had been exploring this galaxy for over 5,000 years. They had encountered hundreds of species at exactly this stage of development. The pattern never varied. Initial excitement at first contact, wonder at superior technology, then decades of careful guidance until the species proved worthy of joining galactic civilization. "Any indication of aggressive tendencies?" she inquired. "None whatsoever, Captain. They appear remarkably peaceful for such a young species. Interestingly, they have been broadcasting mathematical proofs and scientific theories since our scout probe made initial contact 2 weeks ago." This was typical behavior. Young species always attempted to demonstrate their intelligence when first meeting their galactic superiors. It was endearing, like children showing their parents' finger paintings. "Excellent. Initialize standard first contact protocols. Ensure all quantum systems remain fully shielded. We must not risk contaminating their natural development with premature technological exposure." The Void Piercer approached Earth, its quantum fold signature completely masked behind multiple layers of encryption and dark energy dampening fields. The Nexarian Empire had learned through millennia of experience that exposing primitive species to advanced technology too quickly could destroy their organic developmental process. Human preparations, Dr. Marcus Webb floated in the zero gravity of the orbital research station Unity, hastily constructed by a coalition of Earth's nations when the aliens had agreed to meet. Through reinforced viewports, he watched the alien vessel approach. The ship was magnificent, all flowing curves and surfaces that seemed to bend light itself around their edges. "Remember our discussion," he said to his international team through the communication system. "Appear impressed but not overwhelmed. Ask intelligent questions, but not overly sophisticated ones. We want them to perceive us as clever but primitive." Priya Sharma, floating nearby with her quantum tablet, nodded agreement. "The gravitational sensors are already detecting unusual readings from their ship. Whatever propulsion system they use, it is affecting space-time in ways we have never observed before." Webb smiled internally. The aliens, undoubtedly assumed humans, were just another backward species taking their first tentative steps into the galaxy. They had no idea that Earth scientists had been working on theoretical faster-than-light travel for over a century. The only missing element had been proof that such travel was actually achievable. Now hovering less than 100 kilometers away, was that proof. "Dr. Webb," called Lieutenant Commander Sarah Park from the communication station. "They are requesting permission to dock with our station." "Permission granted. Remember everyone, we are simple humans experiencing our first alien encounter. Display appropriate wonder." First contact protocol. The docking procedure was flawless and efficient. The Alien ship extended a flexible connection tube that interfaced perfectly with human docking mechanisms. Moments later, the airlock hissed open and Captain Zarath stepped through. She stood nearly 8 feet tall with pale purple skin that seemed to shimmer with internal light. Her movements displayed grace despite the artificial gravity. Behind her came 2 other beings, presumably her officers. "Greetings," Zarath said in perfect English, her voice possessing a musical quality that made each word sound almost like singing. "I am Captain Zarath of the Nexarian Empire. We come offering friendship and peaceful contact with your species." Webb pushed himself forward, stopping with practiced ease. "Welcome to our station, Captain. I am Dr. Marcus Webb, representing Earth and all of humanity. We are deeply honored to meet you." The formal pleasantries continued for nearly an hour. The aliens demonstrated patience and politeness, clearly following established protocols for first contact. They asked about human culture, governmental systems, and technological capabilities. Webb answered truthfully but carefully, emphasizing humanity's peaceful nature and intense curiosity about the universe. "Your species shows considerable promise," Zarath said eventually. "In time, perhaps in several centuries, you may prove ready to join the greater galactic community." "Several centuries?" Webb asked, managing to sound disappointed rather than amused. "That seems like such a tremendously long time." "Technological development cannot be rushed," Kylan interjected. "Your species has achieved much, but faster than light. Travel requires understanding forces that take millennia to master." Behind Webb, Dr. Sharma was quietly taking readings with her tablet. To the aliens, it probably appeared to be a primitive recording device. In reality, it connected to quantum computers hidden throughout the station, analyzing every piece of data they could gather about the alien vessel. "Might we ask how you traveled between the stars to reach us?" Webb inquired innocently. "We have theoretical models for faster-than-light travel, but we have never seen it demonstrated." Zarath and her officers exchanged glances. "I am afraid the principles involved are extraordinarily complex," the captain replied diplomatically. "Perhaps one day when your species has developed much further." "Of course," Webb said quickly. "We understand completely. We are simply curious about the possibilities." The demonstration decision, the meeting continued for 3 hours. The aliens remained friendly, but clearly condescending, treating humans like intelligent children who required careful guidance. They shared basic information about galactic civilization, the Nexarian Empire, and other species humanity might encounter someday, but revealed nothing useful about their technology. When the aliens finally returned to their ship, Webb's team immediately gathered around Sharma's tablet. The physicist's eyes were bright with excitement. "Did you obtain anything useful?" Webb asked. "More than useful," Sharma replied. "Their ship is generating gravitational anomalies consistent with controlled space-time manipulation. The energy signatures suggest they are actually folding space around their vessel." "Folding space?" Webb leaned forward intently. "Consider this analogy. Instead of moving through space, they appear to be bringing their destination closer to them. It is brilliant engineering, and it matches exactly what Dr. Kim's theoretical team has been modeling in Seoul." Webb felt his heart rate increase. "How close are we to understanding their method? With conventional technology, decades or perhaps centuries exactly as they predicted. But if we could observe their drive system in actual operation, monitor the space-time distortions in real time," Sharma paused meaningfully, "we might understand the basic principles much faster." Through the station's viewports, the alien ship hung motionless against the stellar background. Inside its heavily shielded hull lay the technology that would transform everything for humanity. The aliens believed they were safely sharing their presence while protecting their secrets. They had no understanding that humans had never accepted the word impossible. "Continue monitoring," Webb said quietly, "and establish secure communication with every physics laboratory on Earth. If we are going to solve this puzzle, we will need everyone working together." The fatal demonstration. 3 days later, Captain Zarath was pleased with the progress of cultural exchange. The humans were exactly as expected, curious, intelligent, but clearly overwhelmed by the reality of galactic civilization. They asked simple questions about interstellar travel and listened with obvious amazement when she described wonders they might see in distant centuries. "Captain," Kylan said as she entered the bridge, "I have been reviewing our cultural exchange data. The humans seem particularly fascinated by our travel capabilities." Zareth nodded from her command chair. "That response is normal for species at their development level. They probably wonder if they will ever leave their home system." She paused thoughtfully. "Perhaps it is time for a small demonstration." "A demonstration, Captain? Something minor and safe. Show them what becomes possible when they are ready for it." Zareth brought up a star chart on the main display. "We could make a brief quantum fold jump to their outer asteroid belt. Collect some mineral samples as gifts. Let them see that faster-than-light travel is reality, not merely theory." Kylan appeared uncertain. "Are you certain that is wise? Our protocols recommend minimal technological exposure during first contact." "A simple demonstration from a safe distance," Zareth said firmly. "Our quantum fold core has 7 layers of encryption and shielding. Even if they possessed sensors capable of detecting our jump, which they do not, they could not analyze anything meaningful, and seeing the possibility might inspire their future generations." She opened a communication channel to the human station. Dr. Webb's face appeared on the screen. "Dr. Webb," she said warmly, "we would like to offer your people a demonstration of goodwill. We plan to collect mineral samples from your outer asteroid belt as gifts. You will be able to observe our ship's capabilities from a completely safe distance." Webb's face illuminated with excitement that seemed genuine. "That would be absolutely amazing, Captain. We would be deeply honored to witness your technology in action." "Excellent. We will begin in 2 hours. Please feel free to observe with whatever instruments you have available." Global mobilization. The moment the communication ended, Webb was moving through the station's corridors with practiced zero-gravity pushes. "Sharma," he called as he entered the main laboratory. "They are going to demonstrate their drive system, the GI." Physicist looked up from banks of computers, her eyes widening. "When?" 2 hours. Contact the emergency network immediately. Every observatory, every physics lab, every gravitational wave detector on Earth and in orbit. We need every sensor we possess focused on that ship when it moves." Sharma was already typing rapidly. "Sol is online. CERN is standing by. The laser interferometer arrays are prepared. What about the quantum computers?" "Already connected. Dr. Kim's team has been running theoretical models for 72 hours straight." Webb grabbed a handhold as the station rotated slightly. "Priya, this is our opportunity. If we can capture real-time data of a functioning faster-than-light drive, we might be able to reverse engineer it." Sharma finished her preparations. "Marcus, are you certain about this? If we can analyze their technology this quickly, it will change everything." Webb looked out the viewport at the alien ship. "Everything has already changed, Priya. The question is whether we are going to spend the next 8 centuries waiting for permission to join the galaxy, or whether we are going to figure out how to get there ourselves." Across Earth's surface and throughout near-Earth space, dozens of facilities came online simultaneously. Radio telescopes swiveled toward the outer solar system. Gravitational wave detectors calibrated their instruments with unprecedented precision. Particle accelerators prepared to measure the smallest changes in space-time itself. For the first time in human history, an entire planet's scientific community was working together toward a single goal. Captain Zareth remained completely unaware of the massive sensor array now focused on her ship. The Void Piercer moved smoothly away from Earth orbit, its conventional engines carrying it to a safe distance for the quantum fold jump. "All systems ready, Captain," reported Navigation Officer Timmer. "Quantum fold core is powered and encrypted. Destination coordinates locked. Initiate quantum fold drive," Zareth ordered. The familiar harmonic resonance filled the bridge as exotic matter flowed through carefully designed channels. Space-time began to fold around the ship, creating a bubble of warped reality that would carry them faster than light itself. The stars shifted. Reality blurred. The Void Piercer vanished from normal space. 4 light minutes away, every human sensor in the solar system recorded the impossible. The impossible achievement, the data analysis, at CERN's facility in Switzerland, Dr. Elena Vasquez watched data streams cascade across her screens like digital waterfalls. Gravitational waves are completely off our measurement scales, she announced to her international team. The space-time distortion is creating ripples we can detect from here, over 4 astronomical units away. In Seoul, Dr. Kim Moon-ho observed something even more remarkable. The energy cascade is not random, he said to his assembled researchers. Look at these patterns. The gravitational distortions follow specific mathematical sequences. It is like they are convincing space-time to fold along natural quantum pathways. On the orbital station, Sharma stared at her tablet in complete amazement. Marcus, you must see this immediately. The quantum fold effect is not simply bending space, it is folding it along precise geometric patterns, like origami constructed from reality itself. Webb pushed himself over to examine the data. Numbers and graphs flowed across the screen showing energy levels and spatial distortions that should not exist according to human physics. Yet there they were, real and measurable and completely impossible. It is not brute force, he whispered in revelation. They are not overpowering spacetime through raw energy. They are persuading it to fold naturally along existing quantum field lines. And observe this, Sharma said, highlighting a critical section of the data. The energy requirements are actually lower than our theoretical models predicted. They are accomplishing this more efficiently than we believed possible. Across the solar system, human scientists were reaching identical conclusions. The alien quantum fold drive was not magic or incomprehensible technology. It was advanced, engineering based on principles that human physics could understand and potentially replicate. 37 minutes later, the void piercer reappeared near a large asteroid. The ship's mining systems carved out several samples of rare metals and crystalline formations. Captain Zarath was satisfied with the demonstration. The humans would have observed the ship disappear and reappear, giving them a glimpse of what might be possible in their distant future. What she did not realize was that human scientists had recorded every nanosecond of the quantum fold jump. They had measured the gravitational waves, tracked the energy patterns, and mapped the space-time distortions with unprecedented precision. And they were already determining how to recreate those effects using human technology. Dr. Webb, Sharma, said quietly as the alien ship began its return journey. I believe we can accomplish this. Accomplish what exactly? Build a quantum fold drive, not in centuries, in days. We have the theoretical framework. We have observed it function. And we have quantum computers capable of modeling the mathematics in real time. She paused, her voice filled with equal parts excitement and terror. We could have a working prototype by the end of this week. Webb felt the universe shift around him, and it had nothing to do with the station's rotation. Humanity was about to take its greatest leap since the discovery of fire itself. Make the calls, he said quietly. Contact every physicist, every engineer, every quantum computer on Earth. Get them working on this immediately. And Marcus, should we inform the aliens about what we are attempting? Not yet, Priya. Let us see how they react when we show them what we have built. 72 hours later, Commander Zarath smiled as she presented the crystalline asteroid samples to Dr. Webb. The human scientist held the alien minerals with obvious wonder, rotating them to catch the light from different angles. These are absolutely beautiful, Captain, Webb said. Our geologists will be fascinated by their molecular structure. A small gift, Zarath replied. Perhaps someday, when your people have developed the ability to travel between stars, you can visit the worlds where such crystals form in vast natural formations. Webb nodded enthusiastically. We would treasure that opportunity. Your demonstration 3 days ago was incredible. To see your ship simply vanish and reappear so far away, it must require enormous amounts of energy. Less than you might assume, Kylan said proudly. Nexarian engineering has perfected the process over thousands of years. What seems impossible to younger species becomes routine with proper understanding. Behind Webb's impressed expression was a mind racing with calculations. 72 hours had passed since the alien demonstration. and those hours had been the most productive in human scientific history. While he made polite conversation with the aliens, thousands of scientists across Earth were working on the most ambitious project humanity had ever attempted. "We should return to our ship," Zarath said eventually. "Tomorrow we will discuss potential cultural exchanges and perhaps share some basic star charts of your local stellar region." After the aliens departed, Webb immediately contacted Sharma in the laboratory. "Status report. James, you will not believe this." Sharma's voice was exhausted but electric with excitement. "We have solved the basic principles. The aliens use exotic matter to create stable micro-wormholes, but we believe we can achieve identical results using plasma fusion field manipulation." Webb felt his heart skip. "Are you serious?" "Completely serious." Dr. Kim's team in Seoul identified the key mathematical relationships. Instead of exotic matter, we can use controlled plasma fusion reactions to destabilize space-time in a precisely controlled manner. It is like using a different tool to achieve the same result. How different? Completely different approach, identical outcome. The aliens fold space using exotic matter particles we do not possess. We are going to tear holes in reality using plasma fusion reactions and quantum field manipulation. Webb laughed, despite the overwhelming nature of it all. "That sounds absolutely terrifying." "It is terrifying, but it works. At least in simulation. Marcus, we are actually going to attempt this. CERN has cleared their primary particle accelerator. We are constructing a prototype. How long do you need?" 18 hours for the basic framework. Another day for testing and calibration. If our calculations are correct, we could have a working quantum fold drive within 72 hours of observing theirs. Webb closed his eyes. 72 hours. The aliens believed humanity was centuries away from this technology, and they might achieve it in 3 days. "Do it," he said quietly. The first human warp drive deep beneath the Swiss countryside, CERN's particle accelerator hummed with activity unlike anything in its history. The massive underground ring, normally used for studying fundamental particles, had been converted into humanity's first faster-than-light laboratory. Dr. Elena Vasquez stood in the control room watching displays that showed readings she would have considered impossible 1 week earlier. "Plasma fusion injection is stable," she reported. "Quantum field manipulation is holding within acceptable parameters." Around her, scientists from dozens of nations worked frantically. The usual rivalries and bureaucratic barriers had vanished, overnight, replaced by humanity's greatest collaborative effort. Chinese physicists worked alongside American engineers. Russian mathematicians shared calculations with Brazilian quantum specialists. "Field distortion detected," called out Dr. Park from her monitoring station. "We are achieving space-time curvature consistent with the alien readings." The prototype was crude compared to what they had observed from the void piercer, where the alien ship used elegant biometal curves and exotic matter containment. Humanity's first quantum fold drive was a collection of superconducting magnets, particle accelerators, and quantum computers held together with engineering determination and emergency funding. But it was working. "Test object ready for insertion," announced the engineering team. The test object was a small probe equipped with every sensor they could fit inside its hull. "Begin warp field generation," Dr. Vasquez ordered. The accelerator ring blazed with energy as plasma particles raced around its 27-kilometer circumference. Controlled fusion reactions were harvested and directed into field generators that had been designed and built in less than 48 hours. Space-time began to bend. "Warp bubble forming," reported Dr. Park, her voice tight with concentration. "The test probe is being isolated from normal space-time." On screens around the control room, reality twisted visibly. The probe seemed to shimmer and blur as the warp field enveloped it. Then, in a burst of exotic radiation, it vanished completely. Silence filled the control room for several heartbeats. "Probe telemetry?" Dr. Vasquez asked. "Coming in now," replied the communications technician. "The probe is reporting successful translation to target coordinates. Travel time, 0.8 seconds across a distance that should have taken light 14 minutes. Cheers erupted throughout the control room. Scientists embraced each other, laughed and wept simultaneously. Humanity had just achieved faster-than-light travel. But the celebration was brief. They still had work to complete. The Galactic Shock Captain, Zareth, was reviewing cultural exchange reports in her ready room, pleased with humanity's continued cooperation and appropriate awe. The species showed genuine promise, but they were clearly far from ready for advanced technology. She had no idea that 3,000 kilometers beneath her ship, humans were preparing to test their second-generation warp drive. Every alarm on I. The bridge began screaming simultaneously. She rushed through the door to find her crew in controlled panic, their faces pale with shock. "Report!" she barked. "Captain," Kylan said, her voice shaking uncontrollably. "We are detecting 17 warp signatures approaching our position. Unknown vessel configurations." Zareth felt ice form in her stomach. "Unknown vessels? That is impossible. We are the only warp-capable ship in this system. The signatures are crude and inefficient, but they are definitely faster than light propulsion. Captain, they are dropping out of warp now." The main screen flickered to life, showing space around the void piercer. 17 objects materialized out of the darkness, and Zareth's universe shifted beneath her feet. The ships were clearly human in design. Crude metal hulls welded together in geometric patterns, chemical rocket thrusters, primitive radiation, shielding. Everything about them screamed of a species barely capable of interplanetary travel, except they had just used faster-than-light propulsion to appear throughout the solar system. "This is impossible," whispered Navigation Officer Timmer. "The humans were barely capable of orbital flight 72 hours ago." Zareth stared at the impossible vessels on her screen. Her mind raced through explanations, each more unlikely than the last. Had another species provided the humans with warp technology? Had the humans somehow stolen it? Had her own ship's security been compromised? The communication system activated with an incoming message. Dr. Webb's face appeared on the screen, but he was no longer in the space station. He was on what appeared to be the bridge of one of the impossible human ships. "Captain," Webb said with a warm smile, "thank you for the inspiration. Your demonstration helped us overcome the final theoretical obstacles in our own faster-than-light research. Your own," Zareth began, then stopped. The words would not form properly. "We have been working on spatial manipulation for over a century," Webb continued conversationally. "It turns out we just needed to see that it was actually possible. Your quantum fold jump provided the missing pieces we needed to complete our research." Kylan leaned forward urgently. "Captain, I am analyzing their drive signatures. They are not using our technology." "What do you mean?" "The energy patterns are completely different. Where we use exotic matter manipulation, they are somehow using plasma fusion reactions and quantum field disruption." Kylan's voice rose with disbelief. "Captain, they have developed an entirely different approach to faster-than-light travel." Zareth felt the universe reorganize itself around her. In 5,000 years of galactic exploration, the Nexarian Empire had never encountered anything like this. Species either developed warp technology over millennia like they had, or they received it through careful technology transfer from more advanced civilizations. No species had ever reverse-engineered and improved upon faster-than-light technology in 72 hours. "Dr. Webb," she said slowly, "how long have you possessed this capability?" "About 18 hours for a working prototype," Webb replied cheerfully. "These ships represent our second-generation design. We have managed to improve efficiency by approximately 60% over our initial tests." "60% more efficient," Zareth whispered. Her science officer was running frantic scans of the human vessels, and her readings confirmed the impossible. The crude-looking human ships were achieving stable warp fields with significantly less energy than the void piercer required. "This cannot be happening," Timmer said quietly. "Our technology took 5 millennia to perfect. They have had faster-than-light travel for less than a day." "Captain," Kylan called out urgently, "we are receiving multiple communications from across Nexarian space. Other ships are reporting similar encounters with human vessels." Zareth's legs felt weak. "Other encounters?" Human ships have appeared in the Altera system near Vega and throughout the Perseus trading routes. They are everywhere, Captain. Somehow in the past 18 hours, this species has gone from being confined to their home system to having ships across the entire galaxy. On the communication screen, Webb's expression grew more serious. Captain, we need to discuss some changes in our relationship. You see, humanity has never been particularly good at accepting limitations on what we can achieve. Behind Webb, his bridge crew worked at stations that looked primitive but were clearly functional. The entire vessel hummed with power that felt different from Nexarian technology. More direct, like controlled chaos instead of elegant harmony. We appreciate your cautious approach to technological development, Webb continued. But humans have always believed that knowledge should be shared freely. We are transmitting our warp drive specifications to any civilization that wants them. You are what? Zarath managed to say, sharing the technology. Our approach uses materials and energy sources that most spacefaring species already have access to. Unlike exotic matter manipulation, plasma fusion field disruption can be achieved with relatively basic quantum mechanics. Webb paused meaningfully. We thought the galaxy might benefit from having options. Kylan was monitoring communication frequencies, her face growing paler by the moment. Captain, we are receiving transmissions from dozens of species. The humans are broadcasting their warp drive specifications on every communication channel in known space. The implications hit Zarath like a physical blow. For 5,000 years, the Nexarian Empire had maintained their position as the galaxy's primary power through their monopoly on efficient, faster-than-light travel. They were the gatekeepers deciding which species could access warp technology and when. Humanity had just made that monopoly completely obsolete. Dr. Webb, Zarath said carefully, perhaps we should discuss this development more thoroughly. The galaxy has certain established protocols for the introduction of new technologies. Webb's smile did not waver, but his eyes hardened slightly. With respect, Captain, humanity is not asking for permission. We are a spacefaring species now. With technology we developed ourselves. We will be happy to work with the Nexarian Empire as equals, but we will not be managed like children. As equals, Zarath whispered. On her screen, Kylan was tracking the spread of human transmissions across the galaxy. Species that had been under Nexarian protection for centuries were suddenly receiving detailed instructions for building their own warp drives. The careful balance of galactic power that had existed for millennia was crumbling in real time. Captain, Webb said, his voice warm but absolutely firm. I hope we can continue to be friends, but you should know that human ships are now stationed in every major system in this part of the galaxy. We are not here as conquerors. We are here as engineers and teachers. Anyone who wants to learn our technology is welcome to it. Zarath realized that everything had changed forever. The humans had not just achieved faster-than-light travel. They had become the most disruptive force the galaxy had seen in recorded history. Dr. Webb, she said quietly, what do you want from us? Webb's smile returned, genuine and warm. The same thing we have always wanted, Captain, to explore the universe together as friends, but now we can do it as partners instead of students. Outside the viewports, human ships hung in space like impossible dreams made real. In less than a week, humanity had transformed from a primitive species into the galaxy's newest superpower, and they were just getting started.